So I did this already, but I'm gonna redo it because I kind of fucked up and got a little emotional and whatnot. But this is my thing. So after seeing that news article on WMUR about our fellow New Hampshire resident that got incarcerated for doing some really, really fucked up shit. And I figured I'd tell all this, and that's why I started making these videos, to tell people the truth about things, because when you have no way to express the truth, what you see is fucked up, and you're like, no, that's not really what happened. And that whole subject where they're still trying to put out there that he was the only one in the apartment, it's kind of interesting, because pretty sure I got proof that he was not the only one in the apartment, which is interesting. And I don't know why they're trying to hide the acknowledgement of the grandmother, and whether the mother knew or not, that's beside the point. The grandmother was there. The grandmother made the phone call to the police after conspiring with Dick Smoker there about what they were going to do. They possibly destroyed evidence, which I'm pretty sure there's physical proof of that, considering the reason why I was so mad is because after moving in there and witnessing all this stuff, and of course at this same time, I'm going through legal shit with my son's mother because of certain questionable activities that were going on, which is why me and her kind of went the other way, opposite ways of each other. Basically went the other way from each other. But it was because of the things that were going on that someone was involved with. And it took so long to get someone to pay attention and listen. And then when they finally listened and they looked at the things that I was saying and like didn't automatically disregard what I said, I guess, because I'm just going to go there and say this shit for no reason, and then they don't look into it. But yet that same person that they looked at and then said, yeah, you shouldn't be doing this stuff, and took all the kids away, and you know, I had my son and whatnot. Once they let them little fingers, you know, back in to where she could grasp her hands around them, what do you think happened? Because of the type of person that is and the type of things that happen. Muckle a hold of them and then be like, oh, we're going to use the system and everything and lie and say, you know, all these things and try to monitor and to put things in a kid's head, which is kind of fucked up. But anyways, these are the same people that allowed certain things to happen, especially when I went to them. Many people said something. Many people. I mean, cops were involved. They knew. I mean, you know, whatever. So I had a detective look at me in my face and tell me, well, we can't really do much. We can take your, you know, information down. And when you're hearing some fucked up shit, like I'm sure if you read that article, you'll understand what I mean. Not like to the full extent. I mean, you'll get it eventually. There was things that were going on that were not good. And because I was just getting through a legal ordeal with them to try to make sure that certain things didn't happen, and I tried to keep my kids safe, I was trying to let them know that this stuff was going on. So a detective told me, if you can, record on your phone so we can hear for ourselves, you know. So that's what I was doing. So after so long of this and them telling me that they couldn't do nothing, dcyf playing the fucking, oh, we're just not going to return your phone calls, and then we're going to return your phone calls when you start calling other people, and just to shut you up, we're going to take your information, take what you say, and then not do anything about it. So anyways, after all of that, you know, that day happened. You can go back and look at it. And I remember standing out front and saying, this is fucked up. Because I know for a fact the grandmother was there. The grandmother was there, whether she left, whether whatever. They can argue that fact all they want. And they know that I have the proof of it. which is kind of fucked up that they're going to still sweep that shit under the rug. And I don't care what excuse they try using. The mother knew the dangerous behavior that child was involved in and around. So did the grandmother. Just because the grandmother was using drugs with him and possibly, other things, that's why they were always there together. And to release, still, when I read that he was not, like, I remember going in the courtroom and everything. They subpoenaed me and then tried fucking bullshitting me before I went in there. So then I just kind of said, fuck you. Well, not really, because they said they basically had a gag order on me. Mr. Raymond told me, and the other guy. And I don't care. I'm going to fucking tell it how it is, because I'm not very happy right now. And I don't take it kindly to these entities that are put in place to do a certain job, and then they turn around and they I don't know what they do. But anyways, I was told basically I couldn't say stuff, but I said the truth when I went in there, and that what's her face was definitely in there, knew about it. They co-conspired together to cover it up, I'm assuming, and then she made the phone call. So to sit there and to say, oh, yeah, he was the only one, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he was guilty and whatnot. What about the grandmother? What about some sort of acknowledgement from the mother after the mother and the grandmother and the father went around after taking donations and then went and spent it all on themselves, all three of them? The next night after they put those things out and they were getting donations, the father to that little girl had the mother give him money, and they went out shopping and they went out to eat about 3 or 4 days later. That goes to tell you exactly the character of people. And these people, 2 of them, are free right now because people are lying and saying that, oh, he was the only one in there. No, he fucking wasn't. And we all know that. And I'd like to see one of them motherfucking detectives try telling me that she wasn't. You want to make a bet? Because I think I'm about ready to start running my mouth, especially part 2 of this. Like, the situation that I was in, I never did anything wrong, but yet someone that I had a kid with lost their kid, plural, kids, and went and continued to do stuff, the same thing, throughout the process. They have proof that person did, and then that person somehow swindled their way into not doing anything and being like, oh yeah. And then, after the fact, I gotta fight. Because, of course, I'm the bad guy, because I did something to protect my kid, and these people that we have entities to protect people, innocent people, and people that don't do anything, and to make sure bad people get put in check, those people try to penalize me because of that. Because now I am the bad guy because I said something. And for someone, a parent, to be able to take that kind of spiteful action against another parent, and other people just pretend that they don't see it or just don't care to see it, I think is more or less what it is, and they don't do anything. When you're going and you're telling these people, I've contacted so many different people, it's pathetic. And you think anybody's going to do anything? No. They think that it's fine, it'll go away, But yet these people are allowed to commit utter fraud everywhere they go, and there's proof of it. I'd like someone to prove me wrong. So where's the system when it really matters? Or we'll go on subject number 3, because I'll leave that one alone now. Subject number 3. You got 2 people, they have a kid, okay? Hypothetically, they do whatever, get divorced or run away from each other, or whatever the case may be. So now there's a child involved. So then those 2 people that are on drugs, mind you, like the people down south, one gets custody of the kid. I don't know what happened before that, but how the fuck is it that they give custody to a child to someone like that? And then 2 years later, they don't realize, oh, where's that kid? What's going on? Don't go and check up on him. Guess what happens to that kid? They end up in the news, like said person here. And there seems to be quite the pattern of what the fuck are these people getting paid for if all this shit's getting unnoticed? And when you have clear evidence, like I can understand it's got to be a busy type of thing, and it's got to be pretty taxing on people to do that. But when they're actually doing something, when people go and they say, "Hey, this is going on," and they don't look into it, at least it's kind of funny, because during that incident that I was talking about that had to do with me, I had to get penalized and live under whatever they did and have to deal with the consequences, you know? I had no choice. That person didn't fucking care. Didn't do anything to revert the situation, we'll just say. But yet I have to be constantly penalized for what someone else is doing. And it's like, you tell them they're doing this stuff, go look. They don't look, you know? It's pretty sad that, like, when you get questioned about someone by, like, law enforcement, you get pulled over or whatever, hypothetically you get pulled over by a police officer that you know, and it's local, and of course they're a small town, you know, and someone asks you about so and so, you know, hypothetically it could be your kid's mother that you were talking about before, hypothetically, and they're like, yeah, they don't look like they're doing so good. It's like, well, you know, blah blah blah, in theory, hypothetically, and then you get on a conversation with the person and they're all like, yeah, well, we know, and blah blah blah. So you're telling me that people that work at the police department pull someone else over, start a conversation because they're so memorable of the person that they're talking about that they have something to do with that person, which hypothetically would only be, the kid over 10 years ago with someone, and they keep doing all this stuff. And now it's bleeding into the fact that people are like commenting on it and saying, yeah, we know, you know, whatever, which is pretty sad. And how that person and people around them can do all these things and live that way, and nobody up at that building goes and says, hey, we're going to go knock on the door and find out what's going on, you know? Especially when you tell them, come to my house, go to their house, tell me what you think, tell me that's normal, tell me you can call them ahead of time and they'll clean whatever up, but guarantee you go there randomly? That ain't going to happen. Guarantee you would have went and knocked on someone's door years ago, hypothetically. Maybe you could have stopped someone from not, you know, you might have been able to stop someone from not doing that, or stop someone from doing that. Sorry, that's my bad. I'm getting kind of rambled up here, you know, but it's sad that could have been avoided, and then they're still sitting there clinging on to that same fact and saying, like, they are letting someone get away with, basically, I'm pretty sure from where I'm sitting, the mother and the father playing that shit, and the mother didn't want a child anymore, and here we are. And for anybody to take money that they got donated to them because their other spouse did something to their kid, and then to go out to eat and go buy all kinds of shit, yeah, because that's what she did. And I got proof of that. Like physical proof of that. And I'll let people hear it if they want. I could possibly, hypothetically, do that. Why not, right? Then if I end up, you know, falling down and hitting my head randomly, hypothetically, you probably know why, because I said all that. Because I literally have proof, so don't they? Law enforcement was given proof. They all have it, and they're still lying. How are these government entities that are supposedly to protect us lying about all that, you know? Kind of makes me a little nervous. It should make you nervous as well.